Dawson's Rambles.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Ryder here, taking a break from the recent Power Rangers news to talk about a little bit of Sentai news, as we got our first real concrete look at some of the Kyoryu Red, Kyoryuger content coming to King-Ohger. We did get a poster about a week ago that showcased Daigo at the very top. I wanted to make a video about it, but it came out at an awkward time. It was hard to slot a video in because there was so much else happening, and I would literally be talking about a corner of a picture. So I'm glad this came out, so I have a little bit more to talk about at a time where I can slot the video in a lot easier. So we do have a couple different looks at his new look, which looks like kind of a fusion between his base form, a little bit of Carnival, a little bit of something new with some armored bits. A lot of the looks are kind of obstructed, so I can't get a real good feel for the armor at this point, but I think it looks fine for what it is, and I think it's kind of neat we're at least getting a new form. I think that's kind of cool rather than it just being a generic return. I think it's interesting too that apparently he's being billed as, at least for the time he's on the show, as a member of the main cast, and apparently there's people that think that that's why Ghira's been using the gold power-up so much so that this dude can fill the role of red in terms of the color palette, which makes sense, but I don't think it's in any way harmful to have two reds on screen. I mean, even though the dynamics were different, we did have that for Time Force and Quantum Ranger. Yeah, that's right. Time Force with Quantum Ranger and the Red Ranger. But yeah, I think the suit looks fine. I do think it's cool that we're giving him a unique form. We have a look at the red Gaburi caliber, which has been rumored, and honestly looks almost exactly like I expected. I didn't necessarily imagine it too much. I wasn't hoping and dreaming about it, but it just, when I saw it, I'm like, yeah, that's kind of exactly what I expected. And I'll definitely probably pick it up because despite my mixed feelings on this whole situation overall, I always have really liked the Kyoryuger weapon designs, and I think this will be pretty cool. And of course, you get a new battery coming alongside it. Apparently, they're also doing some Korean reissues of the main mecha, and they're going to have new batteries in it. So if you're, a collector of batteries, you might have to pick those up. But also we have a look at the upcoming new version of the Kyoryugen toy, which isn't at least in these photos, any sort of new form or anything like that. It's literally just the same design, but done with the current design principles of King-Ohger being more articulated, and it can work a little bit with King-Ohger as we see it holding the butterfly saber thing. And it looks good. Kyoryugen isn't one of my top favorite designs, but I do quite like it, and I think it'll be cool to get a articulated modern version of that mecha. I think that's pretty cool. I wouldn't even mind them doing that for some others. I don't want it to always have to line up with some sort of forced crossover, but I wouldn't mind that becoming a trend of revisiting some older Sentai mecha with an articulated style. I think that could actually be pretty neat. I'm actually kind of looking forward to seeing what that looks like and how it looks next to the old one, kind of like how, despite people's mixed feelings on it, I think that the Dino Fury Megazords looked a lot more accurate to the way the suits look in Ryusoldier / Dino Fury, and I think it'll be interesting to see that with this, and also to see that potentially with others. Again, that's just me speculating here, but I think that would be something cool to do that doesn't necessarily have to line up with an anniversary or a return or anything like that, just kind of a cool subline or something like that. As I mentioned previously ad nauseum at this point, I do have very mixed feelings about this Kyoryuger return. I get it, it's their anniversary or whatever, but I have mixed feelings about it happening within the series, especially since King-Ohger's been so strong. I'm not a fan of these forced crossover events getting in the middle of a series I really like. It happened before with series like Go Busters and Gaim. I would just love for this to have been a side V Cinema. I don't even mind them involving King-Ohger. Apparently, part of the reason they're doing it this way, in addition to, Kyoryuger being pretty popular, is they couldn't get the whole cast back like they did with Hurricane Ranger and Abba Ranger, so they have to do something slightly different. But I feel like you could have either done a mini special with whoever you could get back, or you could have done a side special V Cinema with King-Ohger, with whoever you could get back in addition to Daigo, without it interrupting the series. But I will reserve full judgment until we see it, because for all I know, it could be amazingly implemented, especially since King-Ohger's been pretty good so far. And one thing I admittedly do like about it is this is in general just pretty unpredictable in terms of how it's going. Even though King-Ohger had a lot of different stuff to start, I could have never guessed we would be doing this 2.0 time jump with then a previous Sentai character returning. And it's not like it's necessarily a weird thing, because we have had, of course, Gokaiger and Zenkaiger involve older character elements. Even, I think there was a couple older Ninja Sentai characters that popped up in Ninja, but I think that was because it was bridging an anniversary. But still, this is rather unique because it's not for an overall anniversary, and it's kind of for a longer running narrative. I guess there was Gokai Red returning too, but again, this is a pretty unique situation. So I will say that I at least like that overall in terms of when we look back at King-Ohger, this is one of the unique things it did. And I'm hoping that it just proves me wrong. I mean, I'm sure even if I really like it, I will still be against the concept in principle, but I do hope that it takes me by surprise and it ends up being so good that it ultimately doesn't matter. But what are your thoughts on our new assortment of CureUser stuff? Will you be picking up any of it? Do you hope to see anything else CureUser related? Let me know in the comments as always. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell so you get notifications for my videos. Dawson Ryder, signing out.